Edward.
Edward, you know you're the first one since my mother used to call me Edward.
You mean? Oh, I see. Now don't start.
No,
that.
no, I didn't
really
mean. No, I didn't mean it that way. No.
Well,
you
how could you do this to me?
Well,
Edward?
you got such a terrific. The whole country's gotten such a wonderful thrill out of your picture, Sunset Boulevard.
Thank you.
Seemed that everybody in the country was rooting for you. They seemed to have that they had sort of an equity in you.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice to hear. But you know, after last week, Eddie Lamar, and now all this wonderful entertainment, what on earth am I going to do? This is an awful
We are
spot
going
to be
to
in.
talk. It's not a difficult spot at all for you.
Well, I'm a woman. I guess I can do that.
Well, come on, let's cheer up. She's nervous up here. What do you think? Didn't you think that was the most amazing thing that's happened in Hollywood in a good many years? What do you say out there? But actually it's not too amazing because always in your career you sort of had the breaks, even when you started out.
Not only that, but you see, I got in pictures when it was easy to get in pictures. In those days, they had to ask people off the street, strangers, and some of the relatives to come in. There was no such thing as a casting bureau, and I'm sure that if I'd tried to get in pictures after that beginning, I would never have succeeded very well.
Well, I would like to produce your next picture for you. Now, would you tell your youngsters just what you're telling the other youngsters you're looking at tonight? How old are you youngsters now?
Oh, well, you see, Gloria's got to the age where I don't think she wants me to tell her age.
Well, approximately.
Well, approximately, she's going to be in October, very soon.
30 years old?
Oh, now
That's
don't do. I
incredible,
didn't
isn't
say
it?
it, Gloria.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
didn't
sorry.
say it.
Gloria, I'm very, very sorry. And how old's your son?
My son's going to be 28. He's at Stanford getting a doctor's degree in electronics.
Well,
And Michelle, I think, is going to follow in my footsteps. She's only 18.
She's a darn good actress. She really is.
And she's awfully cute.
You know, when we were talking the other day, you were saying that within your experience, you thought that there was a certain pattern to the world.
Yes, I did, and I also...
Well, what I wanted to ask before I forgot to ask you the other day, in the pattern of the world, people make mistakes. Have you ever made mistakes?
Oh, I hate to think. Oh, so many of them. But I did have the faculty, and I think I was wise in always pulling the curtain down on them. If I've made a mistake, and I have so many of them, and I knew that I had, well, there was nothing to be done about it. I just pulled a shade down on it.
Wipe that out and don't worry about it.
Because, you know, if you don't do that, you build an image, and that image can follow you around and go wherever you go, and it's a horrible thing to have them reminding you all the time of what you've done. I think it does something to your ego.
It's a wonderful philosophy if you can do it, but it is difficult. You know, if you've made a mistake, it does sort of plague you. But you have learned to throw it off.
Yes, I think I have. Of course, sometimes it's difficult, but on the whole, I don't even like to talk about the past, only in terms of being constructive. But if you can't get anything good out of it, then the best thing to do is to forget it.
Well, how does that work out in your own career?
Oh, my own career has been
See, when you
fascinating.
started in pictures.
The first career?
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's a peculiar thing, and I only noticed this the other day. I suppose I belong to the, what do they call it recently, the golden 20s.
Golden 20s is right.
Yes, I was a product of that, and I also was a product of the motion picture business because it started, and there's a graph, there's a cycle to it, you know, and I seem to have gone along parallel with that cycle. I drew a picture the other day. It's showing so many years going up and then so many years going down, because I knew when I was a little girl I learned this, the Newton thing, you know, theory, that everything that went up, you know, has to come down. So,
well, how would it work out?
Well, give me a piece of paper and I'll show you. I can do it.
I haven't got a piece of paper.
No?
Could I have a cardboard?
Oh.
Art?
I hope I can do this. I only did it on an envelope.
Well, you sit down there.
Yes, let me see now. We'll do it this way,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here.
I'll hold it up.
Wait just a second. This is a little work.
You want me to take the jewelry too, Clara?
No, thank you. Let's say I started at 16. It was a little before that I started the S&A. And then, I had a wonderful time. It was sort of like that. To about 1926. That's when I came back from Europe. No, I was 26. It was then I was 16 here. That was 1925. I was 26.
I remember that.
Now, do you?
Yeah, I remember Hank.
You got to give yourself away. Anyway, this was awfully easy, you know. It all happened and it was
One success
wonderful.
after another.
Yes. But when I was there, some very strange thing happened. I came back from Europe, and there was a great deal of excitement about my return, and people were so wonderful to me. And I had crossed the country in a private train and went to California, and I hadn't been there in 3 years. I'd been making pictures here in New York. I'd almost died in France, and I'd married Henry de la Falaise. And so it was a combination of a lot of things. Well, it was a prodigal returning, it was Cinderella marrying a prince, and it was Lazarus coming out of the grave. And of course their acclaim was wonderful and very warming. They sang Home Sweet Home to me. It was quite wonderful. But I did say this. My mother asked me why I was not happy, and I said, oh, Mother, I am happy, except that I'm only 26 instead of 56. And I know also that whatever goes up must come down, and what can I do? If I make the greatest picture of my career, I shall never have that acclaim again. So I got a little terrified, but because of these great big teeth, I hung on a plateau for a while, for about 6 years. That would be 32.
That's very interesting. It's a multiple, huh? 16, 32.
This is 10 years here, and this is 6. That's 16. And then, as it happened to the world just prior to that, in around 33, it's a pity I wasn't a skier. I started down.
This is where the roof fell in.
This is what happened to a career. Now we come to 48 down here. And you know what a curious thing this is? This is 10 and 6, that's 16 years getting to there, and then 16 years going down.
That's really, that is amazing, that.
But this was the most wonderful part for me. That's where I learned something about me.
You mean when the roof caves in on a person, they're apt to learn more on the way down than they learned on the way up?
Well, out of chaos hasn't always wonderful things come. Haven't you noticed when you take an egg, when there's a chick in it, it has to break, that egg has to break, and there's something violent about it. And out of it comes life, and it's the same way with a woman giving birth to a child. It's rather painful and chaotic physically, but out of it comes a life. And then you see even a seed in the ground. It's like a little earthquake when it breaks its shell, and out of that little thing it comes through the earth and there's a tree. And somehow this graph of mine, this cycle, some cycles are long and some cycles are small, but mine seems to have gone along with the United States in this particular era that we were talking about. And I don't know, all through that I had a great faith that something was going to happen that would be good for me. I suppose it was a spiritual kind of thing, and
you're a very spiritual person. I never realized that.
I believe in God. And I know that that's what's going to happen to our country. Of course we hate to see our boys go away again, but that's the way our country was born, wasn't it? With blood and heartaches. It gave freedom and hope to so many people on this earth. And now I think it's going to do the same thing again. I think out of that will come something really wonderful.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's hear it for Gloria Swanson.